Filed it.
Oh, you already have?
All right, Facebook, sorry for the delay. We had court-related stuff for Dennis here we had to go through. That's more or less... But I'm keeping the original court material right there.
See you next time,
settling with the court.
Okay, let me know what you find out. If I need to go...
It doesn't involve you. It's just between me and the court. And the fact that the name is wrong, that's not my problem, that's their problem.
It does involve me because I have to make sure that a copy of this or whatever they...
goes to the real one. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I think what you're doing is you're ordering for them to send it directly to the court. They don't hand it to you, they send it to the court.
No, they give one. It says right here.
Oh, they give one to you?
And one for Spirit
Order
Court.
that again.
And you got one for you, but you didn't...
Because I was just me. I indicated I was social media.
That may be automatic. They may have done that already.
Then that's wrong too, because I indicated exactly who I was. I was
can
not.
You find out?
I'm going to go there. They're going to be closed by the time we're done here, but I'm going tomorrow because I'm not going to let this lie.
Find out if they sent one to...
Yeah, no, they screwed up big time, and it's the clerk just cutting corners and doing what they normally do. This is yours, though. That's your official set because I already scanned it. I don't need any of that. Those are clean copies. You already paid for that, my friend. So
Ralph might know whether they would have already done that internally.
Sorry, Facebook. We're still dealing with the details of the trial, and that's part of the issue. Part of the issue is I went and I paid $25 for this as part of...
$25?
Yeah. Well, it's like an $85 thing, but you're paying for their time. So I understand the need to pay for the clerk's time. You don't want to have people just come in and get recordings of every trial.
$85? What is
no. 85 cents is the media.
Oh, the media.
Plus, let's say 5-10 cents for the thing in here. So it's about $1. So I don't mind paying $25 for this, but I want it to be what I ordered, which was an audio CD. This is not an audio CD. Furthermore, it's a challenge to deal with it on a Mac like I have. I know how to do it. That's not the point. If I was let's say a low-income person, didn't have a computer, or I was a Mac person, this is a problem. And that's a barrier to public information. In any case, I didn't want to headline with that. Sorry, Facebook.
So you're saying that is not an audio CD?
No, you put it in an audio CD player, it can't function. It doesn't know how to deal with that. Even a DVD-based player that can handle the modern version of audio, no, it's a proprietary Windows-based app you have to download from the internet, meaning a low-income person has to have access to the internet and a computer. It's fucked up.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
it's fucked up.
You can't plug it
into
Facebook.
A boot. It's fucked up.
You're going to get arrested for harassing the court.
No, I'm going to sue the court.
The clerk of the court.
I'm going to charge the court if they can't either give me an audio CD by September 1st when I originally set the deadline, or they can't give me my $25 back by the same deadline because you haven't paid me. That's my receipt. I don't care if it says Dennis Duvall on it.
Well, did you go back to him and say, I just needed an ISO?
The prosecutor witnessed me purchasing the audio DVD and I'm waiting for it. I have a witness. G. Savona witnessed to me purchasing that. So if they give me any hassle, I'll just say, look, it's your problem. You deal with it. Here's my address. I either want to see a check from the court or I want to see an audio CD or I'm going to file a charge. I'm going to file a complaint and a legal prosecution against you. Because that's fucked up. That's fucked up. The fact that, I mean, it's contingent on them not complying, you know what I'm saying, with one of those two simple requests. Money back or audio CD, because that's what I ordered. If you can't do that, I'll be back to file a complaint.
What if she says that is an audio CD?
I'll point out that on it, it says, look at the letters, DVD-R. DVD-R. DVD-Rs did not exist when the Red Book standard was invented in the mid-'80s. This is not compliant with the Red Book standard, which is the CD standard. See right there it says DVD-R? These are exactly the same DVDs as I use. Anyway, we got off topic. Sorry, Facebook. Now I'm pissed. Now I'm like, but...
What's the topic?
The main topic is that amazing... You want to stick around to talk about Ralph Hess's amazing thing that he sent in? You want to talk about that on camera?
Why don't you chat for
Grab a chair.
Got some food
Who's
coming.
in frame right now? Can you see my hand over here? That's Michael Adcock. Is he in?
No.
No?
You can't see this.
Move the iPad and you sit closer to me. Let's make this happen. Can you see my hand now? That would be Michael Adcock. Frame it and then come sit or stand behind us, Dennis.
Okay, so it's like...
Okay, and you can see me.
No, I can't see you.
Well, we got to get both in the frame somehow. We got to get further back. Further back and talk louder. How about this? further back and talk louder. Sorry, Facebook, new technology. And you can see the flags, very American. We'll wave.
Yeah, okay.
Flag.
We're both
in. So you just have to come between us, Dennis. We'll give you some. So here's what's gone down. Ralph Hess, who's a retired, this is to the Link audience on Facebook who may be watching. Ralph Hess, there's a clock still running on that, right? There's a timer counting up. Oh, maybe I didn't press the right buttons. Hold on. They changed it. Oh yeah, we are live. There's no counter.
And your settings are right here.
Yeah, it's uploaded. Great, thank you.
Of course.
Wow, that looks good.
Would you like to put anything in as well?
This is going in me. That's the priority. We've been talking court stuff. I'm going to be here all day. So.
All right, wonderful.
So here's what's gone down. Many, many little things include, well, big thing would be court, Dennis's court case, which we were just talking about.
What happened to your other?
I got food. I apologize if you can't hear me because of the cicadas or the noise across the street. Another thing that's occurring, I hope, will be Mr. H. Hariaksha, and I always forget his last name. I have it on a piece of paper somewhere. Huh? Bauer? Gregor? Oh, that's his middle name. He has also a last name, Bauer. He was the Green Party, one of the Green Party's delegates from Yavapai County at their national convention. He'll be stopping by. He's also a candidate for LD1 state representative this year in the Green Party. So he's an actual representative.
Oh, I didn't know that.
We're going to talk to him about his candidacy. We're going to talk to him about the meeting we had on Monday, which is all about the establishment of the Yavapai County official chapter of the Green Party, which doesn't exist right now as a whole. There's no Green Party in Yavapai County. That's going to happen because there's enough people swinging over to it. We're also going to talk about Jim Dotzler's upcoming August 24th meeting, which is listed on the link. Something about revolutionaries organized. Revolutionaries set something up, something like that. Look for it on August 24th. That's at the office at 5:45 on August 24th. And we're actually doing, that's 2 weeks from now. Is it? No, that's 1 week from now. We're going to cut the link up a little short here and jet from here at 5:30 to get there. That we're going to talk about. But what I want to headline with, because it's the basis of all my thinking right now, is Ralph Hess's exquisite letter, which unfortunately I couldn't Xerox and have before me, but I can paraphrase. He had just returned back from, he's a retired Yavapai County judge, very liberal. He's becoming more and more an activist as time goes on. Kind of more and more seeing us slide into stagnation and oligarchy and corporate ownership of all of us. And he's actively fighting back more and more. He's a very intellectual guy, usually not on the front lines. He's usually the guy protecting the guys on the front line from lawsuits, from like he assisted you with your case, if I might say, right? Can I say that? Yeah, and he's trained in Yavapai County law, so that's not illegal or anything. So he wrote this really brilliant two-page thing coming back from some kind of legal conference.
National Lawyers Guild.
Oh, is that what NLG was? I didn't even have time to go online and figure out what it was. I was so pissed at the court for delaying my deadline and making me unable to get my deadline. But I had all this research to do and posting of documents. Half of that didn't get done because of this crap. So anyway, he came back from that conference. It was a 3-letter acronym and a 4-letter acronym. He came back from that. I didn't know what they were. They were judgy things. And he wrote this brilliant thing.
No, they're socialist things.
Yeah, and speak up, by the way, because there's 2 noise sources which are going to make it hard to hear you. You got to speak up in your somewhat loud voice, as I'm doing, like that.
All right.
And you could be on camera if you'd like.
I'm eating.
That's Michael Adcock of Move to Amend right there. Behind the camera, manning the camera. That's him.
Move to Amend.
Northern Arizona Move to Amend. Look for it on Facebook. And I co-admin that group with that page with him.
It's actually now Prescott area Move to Amend.
Oh, Prescott area? Oh, that's
Facebook,
right. Prescott area Move to Amend is the search for that. It's a blue logo with numbers on it, like 1-6. Is it 1-6? 28th Amendment they're proposing. Yeah, we'll go into their agenda or their mission. I shouldn't say agenda. What Ralph wrote was 3 brilliant paragraphs. The first paragraph is saying I've been awake for some time about what's going on, but I'm realizing that, I'm paraphrasing, I wish I could quote him. It was beautiful verse. It was judgy verse, one might say.
Yeah.
So he wrote this brilliant prose, and he said, I need to, as we all do, really step up our efforts, because the passive protesting doesn't cut it. It just doesn't cut it. We have to be as in your face as possible.
Yeah, we have to disrupt
gumming up the works, getting more people aware that there's really active suppression of thought, of political power going on.
Oh,
it could be little link viewers. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 stories coming up between now and Friday, which are all small fry little town stories. One is Ralph's statement. That's a small town little guy, retired county judge, who has some big ideas. And I don't want to spin what he says. I want to say, here's how it fits in with what we're doing. Because it was very energizing. It was very, that's why I showed up all hot and bothered about this. I'm not going to stand for this. It goes from the little things to the big things. You have to battle it at every level. Yeah. And a county judge, no, it's not the county judge, but a county clerk's office that is contracted with a corporation to make this public information inaccessible cannot be tolerated. And you can't tell me, well, we just have outdated systems or we have a contract with them. Or no. If you say it's an audio CD and a person comes in and says, I'd like an audio CD, deliver the audio CD, get it back to them, prioritize the defendants or the press's rights over your cutting the corners and dealing with corporate America. That's the way I'm feeling right now. I am so pissed. I'll give them, as you would do with any vendor in a business setting, you give them a couple of weeks. I had signed a piece of paper that said, you say it'll be 2 weeks, I'll give you 3 weeks. Give it to me by September 1st in the U.S. mail, I'll be happy. They got it to me, they mailed it Friday, which was 2 days after I ordered it. They mailed it Friday, I received it Monday, I couldn't look at it till Tuesday. And then I saw it's not what I wanted, and it was getting in the way of filing my article, and it did prevent me from filing my article.
Yeah.
No.
So what did you do next?
Well, tomorrow, after filing my article, before filing my article, I'm going to go down and I'm going to give them the grief. And then whatever happens in that conversation is going into the article.
Can't you just make a simple request to say, hey, this is
not
the
what I
wrong
needed.
format?
Yeah, I don't have to give them all the information like I'm an IT guy and blah, blah, blah. I'm dealing with a clerk. No, I'll calm down by then, but I'm pissed right now. I'm pissed. I'm ready to do battle. So yeah, I'll basically do this. This will be my soft clerky voice. This wasn't what I wanted. It says on the order form it would be delivered in audio CD form. This doesn't work. This doesn't work in an audio CD player.
Yeah,
There's no information on the order form that you needed software. I am a Mac user. So if you could explain to me, write down what a Mac user would have to do, I might be able to make it work if I have all the pieces. And it's free, it doesn't go over budget. But if anything costs anything, I'm over budget. I'd rather have my $25 in bail because I already have the court recording. The unofficial recording that I made. The judge allowed me to make my own recording, which is right now the only way I've been able to hear it. This does me no good. It does a low-income, drug-addicted homeless person no good. It does, you need to not only have the internet, you need to have a computer deal with this, or hire a guy like me in my better days, or have a friend. No. Yeah. The individual defendant should be able to deal with this if he has an audio CD player. It's not a hard thing. For $5, you can get a USB thumb drive with the audio files on it, and that'll work in any computer, even at the library. Do that. Charge $15 for an audio thumb drive. Little blurb says how to use it. Drop the price to $15. Court's still making a $10 profit instead of a $24 profit. You know what I mean? Yeah. That shit has got to change. Anyway, what Ralph Hass wrote, I didn't even get to his second paragraph because I'm still trying to understand it. It's very, basically in the second paragraph, he moves to talking about challenging the power structure in a major way. Do you guys remember reading it? Paraphrasing?
I haven't read it.
I didn't send it to you.
Well, when we finish the broadcast, it's on there. I just can't show it to you while that's recording, while the iPad's running. So we'll read it. We're going to read it right afterward. I've read it already. He's read it. He hasn't read it.
Oh, wonderful. Thank
How
you.
did you enjoy that?
That's awesome.
Good?
Yeah.
What
so good.
my goal is to communicate as best as possible to those people who are like dem exiting or realizing just in what kind of a fucked state we are right now, how much of a grip on
I've got
free
my
speech there is.
smartphone. How can I go?
Oh, Facebook? The link.
link?
No, it's in an email you can't get yet. No, I have to do it. It hasn't been posted to the link yet.
Oh, okay. So
Michael,
I
get in
can't
frame. Come a little this way. Is Michael in frame now? Yeah, and the only reason I just didn't have time. I literally had to jet. I didn't even have time to. I put it on a thumb drive and then forgot the thumb drive. I was going to print it out.
Yeah.
So various things went wrong, but it's because
So
I
we're
was
talking about,
last minute fucking deadline city, you know.
do we use his full name?
Who? Ralph S.
Yeah.
We are now. It's alive. I think
Okay.
we're done. I don't think he'd mind. What did he say? He said, just don't criticize what I'm doing. I'm not criticizing. I'm not critiquing. He said that to his friends.
He said to critique it.
To critique it. Ralph, you did a bang-on job, but there's some language you used I'm still trying to figure out because you're so brilliant and intellectual. It went over my head. Forget the acronyms. There was some language you used. It's going to take me 2 days to fully appreciate how powerful this statement is.
I read some good stuff today in regard to our proposed 28th Amendment to the Constitution
He's come close.
with move to amend. So, we're proposing in our amendment to establish at the constitutional level, it's a constitutional amendment, that spending money to influence elections is not a form of First Amendment protected speech.
It's also a highly suspected form, suspect form in judgy terms of potential corruption when you have that much dark money.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean,
it's being whitewashed as free speech. It's really enabling it multi-million-dollar, like to the level of hundreds of $1 million.
Yeah.
0.2 billion, 0.3 billion, 0.4 billion. I don't know the exact figures because we don't know. It's dark money. We don't know how much the powers that be, the corporations, the Koch brothers. Well, the Koch brothers are actually fairly transparent these days. Charles Koch, the more sane of the Kochs, I might say, he's actually started to say, no, it does, that much money in politics does corrupt.
He said that?
No, not specifically. No, that was wrong. What he said was, we have to watch out better for the little man. And he started to realize, in a sly way, what he was doing may be part of that, kind of like starting to become cognitive.
Well,
but the way he said it was more PR spin, like, I'm a good guy. I recognize the problem. And then he does the opposite of what's good.
Absolutely. And I think they understand that, folks are coming with pitchforks at some point. And
Guillotines.
So
I'll be covering a song by Trevor Morris here when I get my guitar down here, and they can maybe on a light day turn off the canned music. I'll be covering it in open mics and karaoke scenes with as many musicians as want to join me. It's a Trevor Morris song saying, I think it's Let It Be Guillotines. It starts out almost like it sounds like a Farm Aid song, like one of these, we are the world.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have sung that. That's a copy, pardon me. That's the copyrighted theme I just sung. Bad Bert. But basically, I'm going to get permission from Trevor Moore to turn it into a karaoke version that will be publicly downloadable if he gives me permission, and I'll definitely be performing it in clubs around town and occasionally going on Square with musicians to just play it loudly. Play it loudly, play it proud. It's a really great song. Very brutally, politically honest, as well as a Comedy Central, like, raunchy, explicit wording humor. There's gang raping of the federal chairman before he gets guillotined by every one of 300 million American citizens. It's that sardonic. It's incredibly sardonic.
Well, we were gathering signatures for our amendment this past Saturday out on the Courthouse Plaza. And we had an individual come up who raised a very valid point, and I wasn't able to really respond adequately.
Okay, what was his question?
His scenario was that if we eliminate all corporate constitutional rights, then a state the state could come in and
Yeah,
say, just take over
yeah.
a business because
I have an answer.
the
I get
business
it.
wouldn't have the protections. The corporation would no longer have protections
He's actually
of the
right.
Fourth Amendment. The
He's
14th
actually right, but he's taking the argument, or he's not understanding the ideal, and that, to me, and Ralph Hess would be able to answer this question with more succinctness and clarity and judgy language that I'm going to do. But it basically goes like this. Move to Amend does not seek to rescind the notion of corporate personhood. Move to Amend would rescind it as far back as the prior interpretation that, for example, a corporation could be liable as a person for toxic waste dump that kills 100,000 people. Let's just say, hypothetically, they would be liable as a person, not just the individual CEOs. The corporation itself would be it's a good thing and a bad thing, because it's acknowledging liability of the corporation itself, not just the individuals that can be decapitated, and now there's a new breed of CEOs who are somehow came under the radar of that. But it also guarantees the rights and the financial protections that you're talking about. So he was wrong. That's like the what the judge said in your case when he said, if we don't have these limits, you could turn that bullhorn up to 9 and be like, it would have to be like 70,000, and you'd be blowing out windows 2 blocks away and people's ears would be bleeding. It's that type of absurd idea that you would be wanting to take it that far.
Well, actually, our amendment does propose to abolish all rights of corporations.
Well, then you have
under
to have
the Constitution.
Yeah.
However, they're still a legal entity.
Yeah.
And as such, they can sue, be sued, enter into contracts.
There's also years of case law which gives, aside from the issue of personhood, which is a specific legal concept I could not possibly explain.
Here, let me read what our legal expert, David Cobb, who was the Green Party presidential candidate twice. David Cobb, he is on our national board of Move to Amend, and he wrote regarding this issue.
Dennis,
I asked him about this, corporations being basically abused by the state on account of eliminating constitutional rights. He says, please note that the We the People Amendment does not strip corporations from the ability to sue or be sued or to enter into contracts. It merely affirms that all entities created under law, for-profit corporations, non-profit corporations, limited liability partnerships, incorporated unions, etc., are created under the auspices of local, state, and federal law, and that any legal privileges such entities exercise are subject to the political process. So in other words, rather than corporations of any kind, like this list, having the protections of constitutional protections as
so I misspoke.
A person.
If I'm hearing correctly, Move to Amend wants to rescind the notion of corporate personhood, which goes back to 1912? 1812, I'm sorry, I got my centuries wrong.
Yep.
We've talked about this.
Yeah.
I think there's a fairly benign... I am not a member of Move to Amend. What I'm now saying is contrary to the Move to Amend idea.
Yeah, that's what we need to talk about.
What about if you rolled it back as far as the interpretation from 1942, where the interpretation was pretty benign, where it started to get really oniferous, and he could probably comment on the history of its interpretation judicially.
Yeah.
It started to get oniferous in the 60s and 70s and the 80s and the 90s, where corporations became more dominant. Let's say the 4-letter word AT&T,
Yeah.
That was one of the first really bad influences on democracy. I could go into the technological patent things they were notorious for, but that would be deep ending. They deserved to be broken up. And thank goodness the legislature and courts at the time said, yeah, they're bad. They're squashing technological innovation, and they've been doing it for at least 15 years and maximizing profits at the expense of ordinary people who wanted to just have a voicemail machine that was not AT&T. You could not own a voicemail machine unless it was owned by AT&T because it was plugging into their network. So it was the busting up and the legislation of the line between the corporate equipment and the customer. It's called the CPE versus the something else. Customer provided equipment, that's CPE, and then I forget what the corporate side is. It seems silly, but when we talk about the issues of internet bandwidth or limiting big oil or so on and so forth, these are insidiously deep things in our culture that need to be uprooted big time, like big time weeds that have been there for like 50 years at least.
And you're referring to what there?
I'm talking about the dominance of corporate culture in every aspect of our life, where they have the advantage if you ever want to go against them. Like, how would you get food that was not corporate grown or driven or involved oil or plastic? You would have to contract with some local people.
That's right.
To grow everything you need.
Mechanisms for that. Yeah.
And there's a lot of movements for that, establishing little villages.
Community-supported agriculture. I don't know if you're aware of CSAs.
One of the people who I was going to hope was showing up today was the guy that runs the Prescott Public Garden, Prescott something garden. It's in Granite Creek Park, kind of between the big intersection there, Sheldon and Montezuma, and Prescott College. He's the guy that founded that. He is also announcing as a Green Party candidate for LD1. Where we are.
Okay.
I've forgotten his name. I told you I'd forget your name, and I did. Huh?
That's
Democratic. No, that's Democratic Party.
Peter
You're referring to Peter Peterson. In the comment section of this is my summary of all the action items that I was taking notes, and then the next day between the notes and the memory, I did a pretty good, accurate reconstruction of, I would say, 75% of the really relevant stuff that wasn't personal in nature that was said. There was three people whose commentary I couldn't really recall because it's mostly coming from a personal side, and I wasn't writing it down because it was like, okay, you went to college and what happened next? I'm not going to be writing that stuff down. So I forget his name, but he was sounding interested in coming today. I hope he will not drop out. I will post a link to that summary here because there's not many people know the agenda of the Green Party, and like Move to Amend, I am not necessarily fully in alignment, but you guys are so close to my way of thinking now.
Yeah.
Like, what I'm going to say next, you may not agree with.
Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't mean to step on.
No, that's fine.
On your time, you can always return.
Yeah, we may return. Yeah.
If there's anything else you want to say first, because this is not going to be long, but it's going to be.
Yeah, well, it's.
Oh, my beer's holding that up. I got to get another beer.
Recommend if people are interested at all with the Move to Amend's 28th Amendment. We call it the We the People Amendment, trying to restore constitutional rights to natural persons rather than corporations having been found to have First, Fourth, Fifth, and 14th Amendment rights, as well as some of the things that are in the Constitution itself, not the Bill of Rights or amendments. If you're interested in that, come check us out at movetoamend.org. That's the national website. On it, you can find the local page within it where we keep up to date on things that we're doing. But the national website, movetoamend.org, has just, any question you have about it, it's answered on there somewhere. So I would recommend that you check it out. So I just did a plug for movetoamend.org. So
the link is not officially affiliated with movetoamend.org. No money has exchanged hands. I do not work for them, nor do I endorse them. Now that's stupid blurby voice. I've been doing that for recently.
So what was the next thing? You said that I would not agree with you, perhaps?
Yeah, no, I see there's being...
Great.
No, it's not that I don't agree with you. I just don't think Move to Amend would officially endorse this, but I would provide this from the Black Lives Movement as a most excellent way of fighting back. You know how I was saying about the Hess Manifesto?
Yeah. States
that we must, paraphrasing, step up our awareness, our involvement, and our willingness to go against the machine, whatever terms you use, at every instance. Now, The Black Lives Matter have way more experience with going up against the machine than us entitled white guys do.
Sure.
The little things we deal with, like this is in the wrong format, can't compare to not being able to get a job, having your family split up because somebody goes to jail, or being shot because you have a gun and you say, I have a permitted gun, and you die because you said that. You admitted that you were a permitted. That shit has to stop, number one. But, and I'm on tenuous ground as a white person talking about Black Lives Matter, but I'm adopting a philosophy from them. I'm not going to tell them what to do. That's what Republicans will do. There's something I can do to be in line with this cause, and everyone can do this. It comes courtesy of Killer Mike, who is one of the, he's like the number 3 guy on Sanders' team. There was Dr. Cornel West. There was
Jeff Weaver.
Jeff Weaver, that's, oh, he's, well, actually, no, he's number 4, Jeff Weaver. I'm ranking him. There was also Ohio State Senator Nina Turner, who's very active. Most of those folks have now abandoned the Democratic Party and are aligned with the Green Party. Killer Mike has gone further. He's just unplugging totally from white society, and I agree with this. If you follow the hashtag BankBlack, B-A-N-K-B-L-A-C-K, you'll find the rationale, which is very sensitive.
Yeah.
He said personally, like the difference, he didn't quote Chicago, but Republicans often cite Chicago as a nasty place. It is a nasty place, but it's also a place festooned with police corruption, police racial bias.
Oh yeah,
there are so many. It's a bad place to be if you're black. It's a bad place to be if you're white and you're trying to understand why there's so much crime. You can't separate these things. You can't just say it's this or this or this. It's the place. Now, Killer Mike said something. Killer Mike didn't bring up Chicago. That's me saying this. Killer Mike said, let's talk about my hometown, where I live now. He didn't start there.
Atlanta, right?
Atlanta.
Yeah,
Atlanta's cool. Oh, so you can get some
I'm from Moultrie, Georgia. I lived in Atlanta.
I went to a wedding
for a couple
in Moultrie.
years. You went to a wedding?
I almost joined the circus when I passed through Atlanta to get to Joel.
Yeah,
I
because
was invited.
Circus keeps all their equipment at a lot
I didn't know
in
that.
Moultrie, Georgia.
Wow.
That's the end of their season. They come and park like. There's this place has all kinds of circus rides.
I was 16, so I actually thought I was being like, this woman came by in a really cool car and she was beautiful, and I thought it was like one of these predatory female going after 16-year-old boys to have her way with them, and I was like, nah, I'll pass.
Yeah.
So I did. I wonder where my
Can I say something about the men's expo?
You want to get on camera?
Come on
Speak loud. We digressed about my 16-year-old fantasy. You want to say anything live on Facebook Live? No. No? Well, then don't pass behind us.
Okay. I will keep that in mind.
Well, you're dressed for success if you would. I mean, you look good.
Hi, I'm Dennis Duvall. I want to say a few words about the men's expo. This Saturday at Prescott High School. This is going to be an exhibition of militarized law enforcement.
Saturday where? This Saturday where?
Prescott High School.
Which one? The
On Ruth
Okay.
Street. It's going to be a demonstration of militarized law enforcement with SWAT and the MRAP military vehicle. So you have an opportunity to do direct action protests.
I'm going to wear the hat that gets me punched out. Not this one, but the hat that gets me punched out. That'll be my hat.
And in conjunction with the expo, they'll be showing a film called The War Room.
Nice.
And The War Room will be shown Friday night at Prescott High School, Ruth
You're
Theater.
showing this to high school students? Is it a recruiting drive? Oh, no, don't do that.
Can't do that?
No.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
So
Don't
I'll
hit
be,
the big button.
Yeah.
Almost over the camera.
There we go.
Sorry. So your
Camera's
fingers-
here, your hand is in the way of the camera, this is the mic. Don't put your hand there at all. Over here's fine.
Okay.
Sorry.
So I'll be at the entrance to the Ruth Theater tomorrow evening at 6:30 with a sign that
This will be
says,
a link event.
a sign, our usual sign that says
This is wrong.
freedom means more than war, and demilitarize our schools. So
I will wear my
we want to protest
friend army button.
Yeah, we want to protest the showing of the film, The War Room, Friday evening at the Root Theater, and then Saturday morning at 8:30.
To provide an alternate point of view, not to shut it down. Please don't bring a bullhorn, please.
The Men's Expo.
Please don't bring a bullhorn.
I might.
You might? Repeat offender in our midst. I don't think it's an offense. In the Links article on what happened to Dennis hasn't been written yet, but I think he should not have been challenged for a lot of reasons I'll go into. Well, that's great, Dennis. Come over on this side, Michael.
This is for Harry Auction.
That's what?
For Harry Auction.
Oh, you want me to hand that to him? I don't know if he's going to come by, though. Are you going to meet up with him, or?
No.
I have his email. I can email him.
I thought he was going to.
Yeah. Typical Green Party LD1 candidate doesn't show up where he says he's going to be. Typical. So typical. I only know one, so I can't say typical.
What, Green Party?
Hold on, let me get this the way it was, because this beer served a function. It made it perfectly.
Beer's for drinking, man.
Yeah, but it's also for propping up iPads at exactly. I have my drink. Oh, I'm not drinking beer because I don't want to make this an age-restricted
That's alcohol abuse.
Oh, now you just made it an age-restricted video. Damn it.
Okay, I have to go make dinner. Let me know about that CD.
I'll talk to you about what happens. I'm going to go down tomorrow. I'm going to go. When do they open? They open at 9, right? I'll be open at 9. I'll be down there at 9 to do battle with the court. I can't record anything down there. I wish I could.
So it's Friday night when?
Friday at 6:30.
Friday at 6:30.
6:30 at
is the film at the high school.
So I'll be there.
And then Saturday is the more
I'll be there
hardware.
like at 6.
There's two things. Friday is the film at 6. Saturday is at what time?
8 starts at 8:30
8:30 p.m.
a.m.
a.m. 8:30 a.m. is the hardware demonstration. Yeah, we should disrupt both of those. Disrupt any and all things you disagree with. Any and all.
Demilitarize our schools.
Don't get to the point where if the bar overcharges you 50 cents, you're going to start holding a sit-in. Don't be that person. But everything else. Because this is a cool
be able
place.
to be there on Friday. Let me see.
Well, here's Killer Mike's suggestion in a nutshell.
See ya.
Here's Killer Mike's suggestion in a nutshell. Follow the Bank Black, #BankBlack hashtag. Find out all of the banks that they are talking about and approving. It's an unofficial, there's no website you can go to like bankblack.org as far as I know. That doesn't exist. But through social media, they are vetting certain banks all over the country that are friendly to the Black Latino business development cause. Now here's my argument to you. You and I would agree we're both progressive voters. What's the primary, we've talked about this before, the primary priority, the number one priority is getting money out of elections, dark money out of elections, overturning Citizens United. I'm aligned with that. That's your basic mission, is to do that. And to do that via the amendment that is very specific, and you said correct. Wants to roll back personhood to it's off the books altogether. But if you do that, you have to, I think, either say, well, then it will be up to the judiciary to settle anything in which their rights might be impinged on. Like for example, what do you call those lawsuits? Frivolous lawsuits just designed to wear them down and you get a quick settlement.
If that's like that, I'm sorry, but they probably see.
Yeah, well, you got to come in.
No,
if you want to talk. No. Oh, I'm standing up. Yeah, I got to get lower. Sorry, I'm wearing my gender challenging T-shirt today. So you saw my plunging V-neck. Here's what I was saying. So you want to go further than my vision, which is this. Just get an agreement that hands off elections, hands off the predatory nature of corporations that is trustee, bust up the banks, bust up the big banks, do the Elizabeth Warren thing, which is very Teddy Roosevelt-y. She's the Teddy Roosevelt of today, not Bernie Sanders. I don't know what he is. He's Bernie Sanders. He's not Teddy Roosevelt. And bust them up. We're not really enacting. Well, no, there are caps that have to be done on certain types of behaviors. A lot of loopholes closed. friend of mine who's a libertarian, this is for you, Patrick, he's very scared about what progressives want to do, but the number one agenda is to get clean elections, clean above-board interactions between corporations and the public, rather than the predatory mess we're in. The fact that the middle class is disappearing and that the lower class is so excluded to the point that they're just walking off, they're going to take their money and run, essentially, is unacceptable. It's basically making it very hard to be a democratic society. It's making it very hard to survive if you're not in that elite class, which is not 2%. It's greater when you talk about those people who are making 120 grand, 180 grand, and feel entitlement. Like, we don't have any problems as long as you work. Everything's cool. That's not the way it works. Hang out in any homeless camp. Talk to the old guys who are not drug addicted. That's 90% of the homeless population, not drug addicted. Talk to them about how they got on the street. Start listening to the forces at work.
A lot of times it was medical bills, bankrupted people.
Or for me, a little bit of mental illness and not understanding how I lost my, for personal reasons, I lost my job, my house, and my girlfriend all within a month and a half. And I don't deal well with one change, and those three together put me into such a tailspin that I didn't recover for about 3 years. So, yeah, and I was homeless during 2 of those 3 years. It took me a long time to get off the street. So, yeah, a lot of it is mental illness driven, which is a natural process.
Both of you?
Yes.
Okay.
Say what?
She's bringing a ticket.
Oh, no, not me. I'm staying.
Oh.
Just him. So, here's what Killer Mike, I keep getting off the subject. Here's what he suggests. Black people have to unite. Black and Latino people have to unite, take their money out of the system, bank black. These are not always black-owned, but black-friendly banks that are going to invest in neighborhoods, invest in infrastructure, invest in small businesses growing up to serve their neighborhoods, as opposed to corporations coming in and sucking the life out of the neighborhood, like a Walmart, for example, or even a Costco. They're pulling out of Costco, as friendly as they are to their employment.
Part of the problem, or a fundamental, fundamental part of the problem that our We the People Amendment intends to deal with is that because corporations have been found by the courts and the Supreme Court in many landmark decisions for the last 130 years, just a series of decisions that, on account of corporate lawyers arguing in front of the Supreme Court, they kept getting these little constitutional rights attributed to them,
right? Which
then gives them the ability to refute law that has been passed by people who were elected by the people. Our representatives create legislation. And
so if I can understand properly, they can refute precedents. They can say, well, the precedent is unconstitutional. Because when you think about it, a corporation, being a person, should not be subjected to blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
That's got to stop, too, right there.
That's the problem right there, yeah.
And
that way they get all kinds of court decisions that overturn laws that have been passed by communities or states.
Yeah. And we as activists, and you've been active, or I call it activated. You've been activated many more years than I have. I've always been very left-leaning, but I've been kind of passive in my beliefs. Vocal, but very passive in terms of actually acting out. The biggest hurdle we face right now, I think, is, as George Carlin would say, the public sucks. Actually, he used a different word, but in his rant about politicians and elections, he said basically the public sucks. He didn't use that word,
because people are passive.
F hope. That's what it is. The public sucks. F hope. There's a campaign slogan for you. I'm paraphrasing. Somebody will run with that. I think we need to run with that. It's partly because the public sucks, and here's why they suck. It's such a level amount of apathy that when they see, I see it as a canary in the coal mine situation. There are a lot of people, left and right, agreeing that all of the Tea Party movement, not all of it, because There's disengaged people within the Tea Party, and there are engaged people in the Tea Party.
Sure.
I respect the engaged people in the Tea Party.
I do
Say
too.
something controversial.
Tea Party's fine with me. A lot of what they say,
Yeah.
I agree with.
It's the mirror, it's the bizarro world, mirror reflection of what we're saying. When I say bizarro world, I simply see this. They recognize the same problem. It's very clear that they rejected all of their long-term political operatives, with the exception of John Kasich, the Republican governor from Ohio who ran. He held on forever and ever, and Republicans were begging him to drop out because he was splitting primaries and things.
In this year's presidential.
Yeah, but he was the only guy with more than 16 years of experience. Rubio and Cruz have 16 each, I believe. 12 to 16. I believe it's 16 each, but 12 to 16 just to be more factually correct. Trump has 0. He has no military record. He has no public service. So, of course, they like the guy that goes to the opposite extreme of the people like Hillary that we don't like, if that makes sense. Hillary is a long-term operative, very plugged into the Wall Street, the finance corporation.
Oh, God, yeah.
She's going to go, she has to save her party. She's going to go partway to bat for the progressive cause. Partway. But is she going to go enough? Fuck no, not by a long shot. Not by a long shot. As activists, as Dennis explained, you always ask for the moon and then say, and that gets you to 1/10 of the way to the moon. And then you ask for Saturn, and that gets you halfway to the moon.
That's a good
and
way
then
to
you
say
ask
it.
for Pluto, and then maybe you'll start negotiating the moon. You know what I'm saying? You always have to go, and you have to make noise. You have to appear outrageous. You have to dress funny. You have to cause attention. You have to get in the paper. You have to get in the paper. It's the only way you can get well known. You can't do it by keyboard warrioring. That's not even a word.
That's why we're initiating our Pledge to Men campaign this year, in which we're getting candidates for state and local office to endorse our amendment. We have 5 representatives right now who are running for, of course it's in the primary yet, but 5 people from different districts, not around Prescott, but have endorsed our amendment.
This is all very Arizona-centric, so at some point we'll try and figure out, because I tried to explain the American political system to Australians. That involved almost like a table of words. Their liberals are our Republicans, and it was hard to translate. So the key thing in those 4 stories I was going to talk about, which were, 1 was Ralph Hess's paper, 2 was Dennis Duvall's court case. I've been delayed. I wanted to get that done before this broadcast. No, it's going to be by, let's say tomorrow at noon. I'm probably going to have to pull an all-nighter to get that done with all this audio crap the court has strapped me with. Number 3 is the active role that the Prescott Chamber of Commerce played weeks ago. I told you about this story.
Can you change or anything, or you all set?
Could you give me like maybe $2 and change?
Sure, yeah.
So the Prescott Chamber of Commerce actively squashed in Yavapai County the Clean Elections Amendment. Is it an amendment, or what would you call it? Law amendment? The Clean Elections Bill. There's 2, but they squashed one of them.
Well, that was done in the state legislature, is my understanding.
It's a petition drive for voters.
It was a petition drive. We didn't get enough
In
signers.
Yavapai County, and the reason we didn't get, I don't know about other counties.
I don't either.
I'm only speaking specifically to Yavapai County, which isn't that very populous place. But it was the Prescott Downtown Partnership. No, not. Sorry, spoke wrong. They're great people. Love you, Kendall. It was the Prescott Chamber of Commerce's role. And I've talked to a lot of conservatives who say, yeah, they suck. They're among the most evil, manipulative, bullyish people. And I won't go into how they did it. They bullied a third-party canvassing. Most people who get petitions through, they don't do it themselves. You can't get 100,000 or 200,000 votes with 4 guys. And I don't care how much money you have, you're not going to do it unless you pay somebody else to do it. So there are places set up specifically to do your petition for you, and they just view it as a business. They don't care. It could be like Karl Marx's Communist Manifesto. Let's get that on the books. You pay us our hourly fee, they'll do it for you. It's not like what do you call it? They're not ideological. They're business. So what the business group, the Prescott Chamber of Commerce did was they said they've had a long-standing contract with the same people. They didn't have an active petition, but they said, if you want any of our future business, you're going to pull the plug now. So what did this third-party people do? Despite the contract that was signed, they wanted the future business. They pulled the plug.
They're one of these businesses that helps organizations.
Grassroots. These are the grassroots group. Yeah.
To get measures on the state ballot. And
so this was literally business squashing a grassroots electoral move.
Yeah.
Corrupt, not corrupt. They caused another company to violate, not violate in the legal sense, to cancel or terminate. Violate was, I overstepped my statement. They caused them to terminate the contract 3 or 4 weeks before the filing deadline. They scrambled around. They tried to get another company. All the companies are busy. It's an election year. Yavapai voters will not see that on their ballot this year.
The measure to
the clean elections measure. It's in Maricopa. Yeah, bring back the clean elections law. There's two, and I forget the differences. They're both
Senate Bill 1516 or
I forget the number.
There's two of them.
I will for that article. I will get you the proper citation because I know there's two different things. One is a legislative thing.
Thanks a lot.
I think. And it keeps getting tabled or sidelined, and the other is a voter initiative. It's the voter initiative that was the easier, low-hanging fruit. They just said, screw the voters. Well, voters don't need to know about this. Courier, the Daily Courier, to their benefit, did an excellent bit of investigative journalism on this. Kudos to the Courier, and that's what I want to amplify on the massive leadership of the link.
So I think what conservatives, speaking to conservatives now, I feel like they're
welcome here. You are welcome.
Absolutely. I feel like they've been done dirty by the business community in some respects. And what I mean,
a little out of control.
What I mean is the type of thing you just said, where a business group comes in, and conservatives have been told government's evil. Let's do away with all the government we can. No regulations and that's, I understand that line of reasoning, but it has opened up a phenomenon in our society where this kind of thing happens, where business is able to squash democracy, essentially.
I totally agree. And the Democrats do it too. They're I'm not going to say just as liable, but the only way they can, their claim is the only way we can counter the Republicans is to do kind of the same thing. And our argument is, no, you don't get to play by those rules. The rules are going to change. The
rules are fundamentally going to change.
What I was going to say, though, is actually, I talked about this in January of 2015, 1 month into the founding of the link. In that first Friday, it was Fridays in those days, it's Wednesdays now. In that first Friday of January, I believe, there's a broadcast you can look at where I talk about, here's what the Republicans who want to reduce the role of government, who wants to deal with the economy, who wants to increase jobs, who wants to deal with some kind of immigration changes. That's all of the platform points that all the Republicans, all of them. It was like you get bombarded by the same message. It was usually in Arizona about immigration because that was the hot topic here.
Yeah.
We're going to get rid of whatever. We're going to get rid of Obama. We're going to get all the Mexicans to carry Obama out of the country. Vote for me. That person would get elected because he'd be that sardonic. What I was going to say, though, is those are the 4 issues I said. These are their platform points. Let me just read the list of bills that will be discussed over the next 2 weeks. S.1, approval of Keystone, Senate Bill 1 of the 114th Congress that convened in January 2015 last year. It's 2-year Congresses. Senate Bill 1, approval of Keystone XL. Then there were 4 anti-abortion bills, 1 in the Senate and 3 in the House, because the House is insane. The House is absolutely insane. They don't want to just roll it into one bill. They got to have 3 bills, because maybe one of those will pass.
Yeah.
They're just an insane body. Such reforms are needed in the House. Thank God for the Senate. Even though it's Republican-controlled, those guys are a little bit less insane on both sides.
Their rules
There's a lot of, they're totally insane Democratic house people. I hate to say it, but it's a bad scene. Guillotines, they all got to go. That lyric has to be sung by like a 8-year-old girl. It's, sorry, Mr. Obama, we need your head. And then, sorry, representatives and senators, you all need to be dead. And then she goes off. That's all she has to sing. Great lyric, this song. I got to tune in. There'll be a link to the song. It was on the link.
I'm going to have to say goodbye to everybody.
Oh, as usual, I talk loud. Oh, can I talk about the final point about Killer Mike? The final thing. This puts it in a nutshell. So what he says is we have to get off the grid of corporate America. Black people have to not support the corporate system. And just the minute they see it translate to millions of dollars per year that they're losing, they're already talking about maybe tens of millions right now. There's at least 8,000 to 9,000 people, last time I checked 2 weeks ago, who are on board with this.
Okay.
White progressives who are serious about addressing inequality cannot count on that being done solely through political means. You have 3 ways to vote. You vote in, well, I'm counting all of this together. You vote in your elections, the primaries and the nationals and the local mysterious elections that come up like, let's impeach so-and-so. You vote every opportunity. Register to vote. Get aligned with a party so you can participate in the primaries. Don't settle for the Republican or Democratic parties if you activate and realize they are your worst nightmare in terms of making actual long-lasting change. It's going to come out of grassroots and it's going to come out of third parties. That's what I believe. Move to Amend can't say because Move to Amend officially, he's officially on the...
I'm on the leadership team of the Prescott affiliate.
He can't say.
Move to Amend has no
Move to Amend
opinion
is
whatsoever about any party, anything
they don't endorse parties or individual
candidates at any level.
Can you
of
say
government.
there are individual candidates who want to make this amendment? Can you say that?
Yeah, in fact,
say some
on movetoamend.org. If you put the slash and then the word pledge -amend, pledge to amend,
pledge-amend.
Yeah, it'll bring up a page and there's a link on there to click to see if your elected official has signed and click to see if your candidate for office has signed.
Right.
If you click on candidate, you'll see there's already 5 people. A couple of them are for the Arizona State Senate, and 3 of them are for Arizona House of Representatives.
I'll look up that link, so it's going to be in the comments to this video. You can just scroll down into the... No, not in the comments. In the actual description of the video, you'll see all this information. This will be posted... This is an important video. This will be posted to 3 places. The Facebook event you're looking at, the main page of the link, that's one place. It's on Facebook. It'll be posted to Facebook. It'll be posted to our YouTube channel and the Internet Archive, and we will tweet that heck out of it.
And... in case you forgot what the name is, Move to Amend.
I forgot my button. I did my laundry yesterday. So bottom line is...
I'm sorry if I turned this into Move to Amend.
No. This is... You're getting... I hope you're getting equal time. I feel like this is a very good blend. You have to understand, though, there's a distinction. He's representing a national organization. I'm representing me and my little grassroots craziness. So he can't say certain things. He's kind of... hinted to me his political preferences as an individual. I will not say.
Yeah.
So here's the key, though. Follow Killer Mike and Bank Black, because if you're a progressive voter and all the progressive movements are trying to like coalesce and get organized, it's kind of like the formation of stars and galaxies and planets. It takes a while because the Democratic convention and the Republican convention only ended in the last 2 or 3 weeks. You're not going to have a party develop in 2 weeks. Some stuff has to happen. Also, vote in the Arizona August 30th election if you are a voter registered with a party. You don't have to be a member of the party in this election. It's a little more open than the last one. You do have to be registered. If you are not registered Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, or Green, or whoever is represented in the states, those 4 at least, Green, Libertarian, red, and blue are all, you can vote for any of those, but you cannot change your affiliation. That deadline has already gone. Insist on filing a provisional ballot if you think you were registered and they say you're not. File
How
that
you doing over here, gentlemen? Do you need another drink?
Oh, no, I'm still working on this one.
You're still good?
And then I got to tackle that one.
It was just holding it
The
up.
tripod.
Sounds good. Just let it check on you.
I'm a slow drinker. So basically, we endorse not just Killer Mike, because he's one of the brilliant young people on the planet, but also his new separatist, racist notion. It is highly racist, it is highly separatist. When I use the word racist, I mean this. It is a form of affirmative action, but it's not coming from the government. It's coming from individuals saying, no, there is a substantive problem in the system that exists right now. We can vote
With our money.
with our purchases,
Yeah.
with our vote,
Our
and also
savings.
where we invest, where we are. If you're not in a credit union, rethink that.
Yes.
If you're in a corporate bank, you're
Get
doing it
out.
wrong.
Yeah.
You are part of the problem.
Part of the problem.
Here's my suggestion. Get on board with Bank Black. Find something either local to you, if you want to keep it local, that's allowed, or places like Atlanta, and you'll see places in Florida. There's all over the place where Black and Latino populations are. There's all sorts of vetted organizations, and Bank Black will tell you why they're vetted.
Are they on Facebook or only on
I'm
Twitter?
going to post some articles talking about Bank
Good.
Black in this write-up of, here's the agenda for
Okay.
today. Follow the links in the description of this.
Yeah.
Comment, ask questions. We'll try and answer as time permits. But what I was going to say is here's what you don't want to do. Don't send all your money there. Just keep what you need month by month to keep your local ATM alive.
Yeah.
Unless your ATM is Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Compass Bank, even though it's a Southern bank, is Wachovia network.
Yeah.
All of these banks are part of very, very predatory, collusive, bad things. They are the people wanting the bailouts. Fail them by removing the bulk of your savings. If you got $1,000, keep $500 a month or whatever your monthly spending is for your ATM. Your checking account can go to Atlanta. Send your ATM amount that you pay every month. Keep that locally. What do you get in an ATM a month? Figure that out. Put in a little bit of emergency padding. Everything else, your checking account, your IRAs, what else? Your 401k. Well, 401k is a different thing, but all of that should be invested in this Black cultural support system.
Okay.
Okay, that's where it becomes racist, because I am saying support them. Move to Amend cannot formally endorse this, but do you get it?
I can say, though,
They can't, as an organization, they can't formally endorse
yeah,
it.
I'm not endorsing any organization.
What do you think about the basic idea? The idea that the progressive equalization of the disparity could be addressed on a personal level.
Move
Enough
to
people
Amend,
talk
I
about
can
it.
say, as leadership in the local Move to Amend affiliate, that our position is that our movement has to be multiracial, intergenerational, and multi-ethnic.
And what I love is when he says that, he means it. He doesn't mean it.
yeah.
He doesn't mean it in the Hillary way of meaning exactly that.
We have
No, it's not in the
Latino.
Hillary
We
way.
have Latino
means
members
it,
here.
yeah.
Half of our organization is female, half of it's male, and we have all age groups from high school up to way past retirement. So, we're living the way that we're preaching, kind of. And with that bank bailout stuff,
Bank Black. The bank bailouts. You mean the federal bailout of the financial system?
right? That's because they have a foundation of 14th Amendment protection under the
The
Constitution.
personhood. It's the
Corporate
personhood.
personhood. So.
All right, so let's clink our water glasses and say ta. Apologies if there was even one viewer who wanted any questions answered. We just couldn't do it. There was too much going on. The cicadas, the music, we just couldn't deal with figuring it out. We'll try and get our act together and have somebody reading that as they come in. So we'll get our
maybe
act
put
together.
it up on a.
Yeah,
'Cause, I mean,
I gotta
we're
buy
having
one
to
of
do
those
this.
little tripod things. Yeah, I gotta get a tripod. Yeah. Thank you so much. We're signing out.
I wasn't impressed by it.
Oh, next Wednesday at 4 p.m. Arizona time.
It was on the mobile.
Right? That's the way you do it. Oh, low battery. Close that.
Good job.
Finish.